to the game. All right, welcome to Daybreak, ladies and gentlemen, and spawning over here in the bottom left-hand position as the blue Zerg player, defeating Johnny Rico by a score of 2-1 to set himself up in this final. One thing's for sure, we'll see a Brit through because both of these guys are from the UK. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Ourk. And his opponent in the top right position as the red Protoss representing Team Dignitas, fighting through a huge, amazing string of talented players to get here. Will he be able to take home the prize? Because this is the final stage. We have Dignitas BlinG. So another potentially fantastic ZVP here for you. Of course, we have BlinG putting the pylon on the low ground, which is indicative of that very quick expansion. Let's see if he goes for a Nexus first, or if he's going to be plugging the Forge down. Usually, the Nexus is the order of the day here on Daybreak. Let's see what he opts for, though. In the meantime, Ourk just going to be chilling out here, presumably going to try and get a 15th pool, as is kind of standard, as BlinG tries his hardest to be the world's most annoying probe on that close mineral patch there. And will be able to succeed doing a fair amount of frustration to Ourk, who actually just is avoiding mining from that patch in the for the time being. And BlinG is going to eventually get away with a handful of minerals in the mouth of that probe himself. And he will move down to the natural expansion where he's going to attempt to block the expand coming out from Ourk. And we're going to see that little dance around, of course. Let's see if BlinG opts to use a forward pylon like we saw in the previous series to try and deny MTL's one. And, oh, sneaky in the hatchery there. Very nicely done. BlinG not quite getting the scouting pattern on that probe right, and Ourk able to get the natural expansion down. We have got the Nexus into the Forge. So everything looking fairly hunky-dory here. No pylons got placed down there from BlinG, and he should be putting down a gateway and a photon cannon here at this wall off very, very shortly indeed. Chrono Boost still continuously being used for probes here, so both sides willing to settle into what can be considered a fairly typical PBZ for the opener as it currently stands. And we have 4 Zerglings about to pop out for Ourk. BlinG will see that there are 4 and not anymore because he has the probe at the forward watchtower. But never mind, he's actually moving off of that to scout for the third base. I don't know how frustrating would it be if he manages to stop that third from going down. Well, actually not very, because the Lings are going straight for that location and BlinG is going to have to hightail it out of there. So, second and third bases have gone down without any trouble for Ourk whatsoever. He's going to be chilling out now. And we should be seeing him transition into a very, very normal game. Let's see at what point he ends up taking his gas. He's going to drone like an absolute madman now. BlinG has gone up to 2 gases in his own main base. He's getting his cybernetics core down as well. And he will have a choice of tech to go into. In the meantime, just another round of drones and a queen about to pop out for Ourk as well. Going to be getting that creep spread and between the bases done as quickly as possible, as well as, of course, getting those injects off on those hatcheries. BlinG, in the meantime, is about to complete his cybernetics core. So we should be seeing a Stalker, there we go, popping out of that gateway momentarily. And more drones coming out, probes rather, and the warp gate research upgrade being researched. The Chrono Boost being used on the Stalker as it currently stands though. Probably going to want to scout around for stray Overlords or maybe a Zergling at the Watchtower that it can pick off or something like that. As more and more drones at this point of the game, well, now we hit around the 6-minute mark, continue to get produced. And there we go, just before 6 minutes, we have the first 2 gases being taken at the natural expansion here for Ourk. And that means that if BlinG scouts the natural and gets his probe killed, he might assume that it's a 3rd and 4th gas, but in fact it is a 1st and 2nd as it currently stands, and wow! Alright, so BlinG going for a very, very early 3rd Nexus here, and I wonder if that will be scouted by Ourk. We have a little bit of action at the watchtower, that, and it looks like a Stalker takes out one of the Zerglings there, and will be able to move back to potentially challenge this Overlord, but it is on the high ground, so won't be able to get it done. And very quick third base from BlinG. It's all going to come down now to when Ourk sees the third base. And when he does see the third base, what he's going to be doing with it. This Stalker is scouting all over the place right now, and that should be a decent indicator for Ourk to try and move out and see if that third base has been taken. This Ling at the natural is going to see exactly that. We'll see that the next is actually almost all the way complete. So I wonder if this will prompt him to take a fourth, or if he's going to try and do some sort of attack here. We have got an additional 4 gateways coming down now for BlinG. 1 inside the main base and 3 more at the third base to try and form a little bit of Sim City there. And Ourk is taking this opportunity to not produce an army at all. He's just going to be taking the rest of his gases, going up to layer, and continuing a massive round of drones. He's gone up now to 60 workers versus the 48 of BlinG, who is starting his robotics facility. Alright, so +1 nearly complete now for BlinG. There is a macro hatchery going down inside of the main base of Ourk. I wonder if this is going to be for some sort of timing, or if he might just be taking another base. We'll find out very soon, but he seems to not be sending a drone out anywhere so far. He's now going up to all 6 of his gases, so when the layer completes, we'll get a much better idea of what he wants to do and where he's going to be piling in his resources towards the rest of this game. We do have a 5th and 6th gas also being taken for BlinG at the moment. And he is currently on 5 gateways off of 3 bases, so he could be adding some more soon. The robotics facility is about to complete. Chrono boosts out an observer, and the Spire has gone down for Ourk. And where that's actually at the third base at the moment, so not completely intuitive where it is. BlinG might send the observer straight over to the main base or the natural expansion, not see anything, and Ourk might be able to get a little bit of damage done with Mutalis here, or he might just be attempting to see if he can go straight to Broodlords. We'll find out in just a moment, but that could be very risky and susceptible to some sort of timing coming out of here from Dignitas BlinG. He has got the +1 armor coming down now. A Warp Prism is in production. He's starting a Robotics Bay, so he will be able to start Colossus production soon, and he's getting a Twilight Council. So a lot of stuff going down for BlinG right now, and more buildings getting put down, an additional 3 gateways at the third base. It's effectively walled off on the south side now, and if Ourk wants to break through, he has to go through the gateways. There isn't really any alternative. We even have a cannon in the back for good measure to prevent a couple of Lings just from doing any sort of pot shot damage off of that, which is great. Ourk has a good Overlord spread right now, actually. If we just click on one of his Overlords and just look at his vision, he sees a decent chunk of the map. Not too shabby at all. But he needs to be able to see the army composition from BlinG, and that is going to be what's important going into the rest of this game. 4th and 5th base is now being taken from Ourk, but Colossus production is now 2 at a time from BlinG. He hasn't seen the Spire yet, and oh, Overseer trying to pick off the Observer, but the Observer does see the Spire. Ourk did not want BlinG to see that, but BlinG did manage to see. Well, very, very well played to him there. And he now knows that the Mutalisks are going to be incoming. A decent number of Stalkers in the main base as well. Will they be able to deter the murders? They do for now. The number of Mutas out on the field, though, is 11, and 5 Stalkers will not be enough to deter this. Moving into the main mineral line here is Ourk. This is the first action of the game, ladies and gentlemen. Both players have remained relatively passive until now. Decent number of probes have been killed so far, and these Stalkers are getting absolutely demolished so far by the Mutalisks. A second warp in, though, will deter them. 7 workers killed so far. Not bad at all, and Ourk has map control of the Watchtower. He is at 169 supply versus 116. The worker supply is at 89 versus 72. And we could be going very quickly into endgame PvZ here. We have Pathogen Glands. A lot of upgrades coming in. +2 Grand Carapace and +1 melee attacks. Galera Constitution and +1 flyer attacks also coming in for the Zerg. Everything is being researched now. We have Gravitic Boosters being researched for Dignitas BlinG. So he'll be able to get those faster observers, I do believe. And we have got Psionic Storm coming down. BlinG is about to finish for him as well. And +2 is also on the way. So a lot of stuff coming in from both sides at the moment. They are just getting ready to macro it up and continue to get to their ideal army compositions. BlinG actually stuck at 134 supply at the moment and needs to build a pylon. We have Mutas now coming back into the main base. Great BlinG actually licking underneath these Mutalisks and getting a couple of them killed. Only 7 remaining now, so BlinG was completely on top of the ball there. Now has 2 pylons on the way as well. In the meantime, this warp prism towards the bottom right location has to be very, very careful indeed with those mutas out on the map. But they are just trying to harass the main base at the moment, and BlinG is having none of it. The mutas coming in once again. We have got 5 stalkers here, going to attempt to blink in, and does manage to do so. One of the mutas almost getting taken out, so close to dying there on a grand total of 1 hit point. But another warping of stalkers behind the natural mineral line. Ourk is just not able to get harassment damage done against BlinG here, and that's very, very frustrating for him. Now moving towards the third base. Do we have warpins available? We probably do. Let's see what happens here. Actually, we don't at the moment. That's why all the probes are getting pulled. A couple more go down, and a massive BlinG. Oh my god, almost all of the mutas going down here. Only 3 left now, about half health. A good trade for Ourk there. Total number of workers killed 12 this game, but he's lost so many mutalisks. The workers apply now 93 for Ourk versus the 73 for BlinG, and I think BlinG now has just a little bit of breathing room. He's going to be getting extended thermal lance +2 is about to complete as well. So we are going to be seeing very shortly a bit of a late game PvZ here in game number 1 of the second semi-final in the ESET UK Masters. Which one of these amazing players will qualify for the grand final at I-47? BlinG now destroying the destructible rocks in the center of the map, trying to stop Ourk before any potential greater Spire play comes through. And does Ourk does have the Hive. It's about... The Hive is actually up, but the Greater Spire hasn't started yet. So we have no Broodlords potentially out on the field right now, and he's going to have to rely a lot on these Spine Crawlers. Nice preemptive storm there, but he needs to get rid of the Spine Crawlers as quick as possible. A very clumped up army here. Can Ourk get some good fungal growths down? BlinG should probably move that observer forward just a little bit so he can see everything going on. He knows the infestors there, has to be so careful. Good fungal off on some of those BlinG Stalkers, but the Spine Crawlers are getting absolutely demolished right now. No Greater Spire for Ourk. And here we go, he's moving in. We need follow-up. Oh no, we don't have follow-up force fields. So Ourk gets a fantastic surface area. And all of a sudden, oh my goodness, so much damage being done. We have got Zealots in the main base as well from BlinG doing damage. But his main army just got completely demolished. He needed more and more force fields, and he didn't have them with the second round. He's going to try and do some constellation damage here against the main base, and he is surviving with a couple of stalkers out here, but he is down to 115 supply versus 174. And Ourk is now making Roach Infestor. He has not gone for the Greater Spire. BlinG is researching +3, and he's reinforcing with stalkers. His main army did get destroyed before, but Ourk has some army to back up. Do we have fungal growth with this army? Just a couple. He will be able to pick apart about half of those stalkers. The main base does get obliterated by those zealots, but oh my goodness, at what cost indeed. Let's find out what these players end up doing moving further. It looks like BlinG is going for effectively a pure stalker army here, and he might get overrun if these fungal growths end up landing beautifully. This forward fourth base from BlinG is looking pretty tough to hold, but his Blink Micro is pretty superb, and he is blinking forward, trying to pick up a decent number of infestors. Good concave though right now from Ourk. Will he be able to stop these stalkers from taking him down? This +3 attack is doing so much damage for BlinG, and I think BlinG might be able to power his way through here. Has Ourk overextended? He has so many infestors right now, but they're all on such low energy. This is terrible news for our Zerg player as the infestors all go down one by one, and BlinG, after what looked like a horrible first engagement, using those zealots in the main base and the warp prison to do so much damage, and he's now coming back at Ourk with these Blink Stalkers. So we have no Stargate or Mothership on the way. We have no Broodlords on the way. This is a different type of PvZ or ZVP, guys. This is very, very interesting indeed as BlinG now moves in with more and more Blink Stalkers. I'd like to see him get an armor upgrade on these Stalkers because he has so many of them. He is at +1, but it'd be great if he had +2. And now he's getting a lot of sentries in with this army composition. It looks like he wants to finish his opponent off with a Gateway army. And if he can zone out those roaches, that'll be fantastic. We see Ourk switching it up to Lings now so he can use his gas for infestors. But he is actually up to 1,000 gas at the moment, so he shouldn't have to worry too much about that. As far as the income is concerned, BlinG is actually mining marginally more because he's managed to re-secure that fourth base in front. And all the infestors are up top here. We have some, nice force field zoning at the army at the bottom. But the infestors up top need to be so careful. If BlinG managed to get even a single blink on top of those infestors, so many of them could go down here. He's getting a good chain fungal off though, and Ourk trying his best to hold on, but BlinG warping more and more units in this massive gateway army through the middle of the map. He is up to 122 supply versus 128 for Ourk. Ourk is in a very, very sketchy situation right now. Will BlinG... interestingly, he isn't going Colossi or anything like that. This is a pure Gateway Army. He's just trying to reinforce the sheer numbers of units, and there we go. The massive Zealot warp in here in the main base, going down towards the natural. Is he going to be able to do the same amount of damage in the natural expansion? Decent hold at the ramp here, but those Zealots have a decent surface area on the ramp as well. It looks like with the roaches behind, going to be able to do some damage. But a huge blink in at the 5th base. The Warp Prism goes down, but BlinG is now engaging at the 5th. Will he be able to break through? And Ourk looks like he might be able to bring it back, conserving the energy in those infestors quite well indeed. And those sentries! Oh, good God. Every single one goes down, and all of a sudden, advantage Ourk, ladies and gentlemen. BlinG now finally going for the Stargate in the back of his main base. This is actually a crazy game. We're at the 21-minute mark. We have no Greater Spire. We're at the 21-minute mark. We only just have a Stargate coming down. This is not your normal PvZ. A massive slugfest ensued in the middle of the map in the middle of the game. BlinG took out Ourk's main base. Ourk, unable to make that Greater Spire before he remakes the Hive. Although I should stress he had the Hive for quite a while and didn't upgrade his Spire. And now Ourk is the one moving forward towards the Watchtower location. I'm not sure this is a good idea because he has got... Oh, BlinG has potential storm. No, he doesn't have enough energy for storms on these high tempo. That could end up being huge because the infested Terrans are doing a lot of DPS. So many of those stalkers are at red or orange health, and here come the first two storms just in time. This is such a back and forth game in the middle of the map in Daybreak, and now we have the offensive BlinG forward. Do we have any fungal growths in stock? Yes, we do! That fungal does so much damage to the Stalkers! Can we get one more off? A great storm coming down from BlinG, but so many of the Stalkers going down to these fungals because they were red health to begin with. This is such a close game right now. Ourk down to 135 supply versus the 110 from BlinG. Both sides just absolutely nailing the crap out of each other in the middle of the map. This is insane stuff on Daybreak. We have another Warp Prism moving towards a natural expansion though from BlinG. What will he be able to do with that? He has got some BlinGs warping into the bottom, and Ourk does spot it in time. I don't think BlinG's going to be able to do anything with that. There we go, and the Corruptors are coming in now. Needs to be very careful. Remaxing his army in the middle of the field. He's at 131 supply at the moment. Neither side really able to get a bag except for Ourk's gas, which has just been piling up. But he's been spending all of his minerals on units because BlinG has been absolutely relentless with his aggression. But who is going to win the war of attrition? The poor Warp Prism is going to go down here on the bottom left-hand corner, and there we go. It disappears as Ourk attempting a counterattack through the bottom, but thinks better of it last second. More and more high tempo now coming out from BlinG. At last, at the 24-minute mark, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Greater Spire started from Ourk. What a crazy ZVP this has been. BlinG all the way back up to 150 supply. Now his upgrades are good. He's at 3-1. Ourk's upgrades are at 2-2 though on the Lings. What are they on the Roaches? They are at 0-2. So the upgrades for BlinG marginally better, but he hasn't actually continued in the same vein. We don't see him going up to 3-3 or anything like that. He is getting his fleet beacon now, so it looks like both sides have recognized the transition to standard late game PvZ is almost inevitable here, and we should be seeing some Broodlord versus Mothership action if this game goes on much longer. But BlinG looking to be aggressive out in the middle of the map once again. And here we go, trying to do a bit of prodding at the Spine Crawlers, not baiting any force fields out of them. Yeah, I don't actually think there are any sentries with this army. We don't, but we do have Storms. And that could turn out to be huge. There are no Colossi with this army from BlinG, remember. It's very Stalker-centric. Oh, nice fungal growth there, picking off a bunch of Stalkers in the back. And a BlinG, good micro there to blink away as well. It looks like BlinG going for the top left expansion. Might be able to get this. That's not where the Spine Crawlers are, but we have a counterattack from Ourk against the forward 4th base from BlinG, and he will be able to take it out. I wonder if we're going to be seeing a Mothership-less, Broodlord-less base trade here. It looks like that might be possible. That base can be taken out very quickly. And Ourk trying to come back to defend the central expansion. The Spine Crawlers buying him a little bit of time. The army now rejoining that base, and I think this could be the battle that defines the game. The Greatest Spire is out. The Fleet Beacon is out. But we don't have a Mothership or Broodlords on the way. What an insane game this has been. And BlinG moving into this forward location. Here comes Ourk. A massive army. Great storms coming out from BlinG. Will it be enough, though? So many Roaches chasing this army back, and Ourk up to 180 supply versus the 100 from BlinG, who dips below 100 for the first time this game. Has Ourk done it? Can he win game number 1 against Signitas BlinG, who's had a storming run through this tournament so far? What a crazy game we've had, and it looks like BlinG is going to get beaten back. Ourk now 70 supply ahead. What can BlinG do about this? Long distance mining from that front base, and Ourk is mining more than BlinG at the moment, even without retaking that top left expansion. Don't forget the main base still has some minerals for Ourk as well, so he will be able to go back and mine just a little bit, probably only about 800 minerals worth in total, but that is still something. And now we have 3 Broodlords morphing in with this army. BlinG is down back up to 106 supply, but Ourk is maxing out, and he will likely be going through the center of the map very, very soon indeed. This is incredibly tense right now. Neural Parasite also being researched, anticipating the mothership in advance. But we don't have a mothership on the field. We don't even have one being made at the moment. So BlinG not going for that super late game stuff that early. Doesn't want to use that 400 minerals for the mothership just yet. So he just wants to get as big an army as humanly possible. Ourk now up to 193 supply though. 199. He is maxed out against BlinG, who is still at 111. Ourk is probably going to look to head out at some point very soon. A small Zergling counterattack going in against the bottom right expansion here, and BlinG is going to blink forward to save it. He does not want to have to cancel that Nexus. And ooh, Probe's actually getting picked off here. A couple going down, and there we go. The Stalkers will be able to save it. We have another couple of units thinking about heading to the forward expansion, but the units at the Watchtower successfully dissuade him from doing that. Ourk now with how many Broodlords? He has 4 Broodlords with this army, a lot of full energy infestors, and a decent number of roaches as well. He's 0-2 upgrades, finally about to complete +1 missile attacks. I'd like to see him go for a bit of a timing here, because he is simply maxed out at the moment, and he wants to try and trade against BlinG to a point where BlinG is unable to continue remaxing. But for some reason, Ourk is just taking his time. Let's see if this approach pays off for him, because BlinG is slowly regaining supply. He's back up to 130 and counting at the moment. We are getting +3 Grand Carapace, and here we go. The mothership at the 30-minute mark for BlinG has now started. What a weird game we've had here, and that +3 attack really showing. Those roaches melting oh so quickly at this bottom right expansion. There is no way Ourk was going to be able to take down a Nexus or anything like that. Total workers killed 37-25 this game, but what's more important is the current worker supply, which is 50-53. So Ourk has a huge army coming out now, and it looks like he's finally posturing to go out into the middle of the map. It took him a while, but I think he should be out in the center of the map before BlinG gets his mothership out with a potential vortex. So that could be huge for him. He has so much infestor energy available to Ourk right now. He's waiting to see where the mothership is, but the mothership just isn't out on the field right now. It's still only halfway done. And here we go. Those Broodlings now going out, granting vision for Ourk. He's going to be taking the Watchtower, and if he cements this location with the Broodlord, it's going to be so difficult for BlinG to move forward. Using Infested Terrans to prevent the blink in, and there's so much Infestor energy he can afford to do that. Storms mainly hitting the Infested Terrans. Oh no, needs to make sure the Infestors don't actually move forward into that. Huge number of storms against the roaches here, but BlinG now being sieged up by these Broodlords. He's down at 87 supply. The mothership is 15 seconds away, and I don't think it's going to be enough. So many infestors out right now, and BlinG leaves the game. Ourk wins game number 1 in this huge match.